Steven Universe Future is finally here, bringing with it new gem fusions, new powers, new friends, and new issues to tackle. When we last saw Steven, he'd just come to the self-realization that happily ever after isn't always permanent, and that he's gonna have to rise to the challenge of facing new problems every day. That, however, proves a lot easier said than done, as we follow Steven on his next adventures. I'm Whitney Van Laningham, and today we're breaking down the Steven Universe Future premiere. Now I know what you're thinking. Where's Chris Carr? She normally does all the Steven Universe videos. Why are you turning my world upside down, Whitney? Yeah, so Chris kind of accidentally got bubbled. Don't worry though, she'll be back in time for the next video. Just kidding. She's down with the sickness right now, so give her some well wishes on the Twitters after this video at actor Chris Carr. Now let's talk about Steven! Starting off, we have Little Homeschool, where we immediately learn that Steven and the Crystal Gems have started a schooling program for any of the uncorrupted gems who wish to remain on Earth. But not everyone wants to participate in the Earthling integration, so Steven goes off to the woods to convince Jasper to join him. Jasper has been struggling to adapt to this new peacetime era. She's a warrior through and through, and finds it pointless to acclimate to a civilian lifestyle. IRL, this happens sometimes to soldiers who return from war. It can be a real struggle to readjust to life outside of the military. This is definitely an interesting angle to take on Jasper, and I'd love to see this explored more as we move forward in the series. Jasper convinces Steven to spar, and her smack talk draws out a new power from Steven that appears to stem from rage and unchecked emotions. We're going to dissect this new power later on in the video. I've got some theories. That said, I'm expecting to see this pink Steven power as a driving plot point throughout SU Future, as Steven struggles to master and control his burgeoning abilities. After the battle, Steven asks Jasper to mentor him, but Homegirl instantly refuses. I have hope though, because they wouldn't just drop that huge potential pair up and then not do anything about it. It'll be interesting to see what Jasper's leadership can bring out in Steven that Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst couldn't. This anti-heroic mentor role has some distinct Dragon Ball vibes to it, and I'm excited to see Steven flirt with the Darkside. In the next episode, Guidance, we find Amethyst integrating the new gems to Beach City. She started up a work-study program, where the gems have chosen jobs to perform on Earth. The only catch is that they're pretty much exactly the same gigs they had on Homeworld, and that's a very uncomfortable idea for Steven, who wants to move past the oppressive social structures of Homeworld society. He decides to give them all jobs wildly unsuited to the gems' abilities in an attempt to expand their comfort zones. It makes sense, however, that the gems naturally gravitate to similar roles they served previously, as the gems were made with certain qualities hard-coded into their DNA. This episode is the lightest of the 4 premiere episodes, but we do get to see more of the rubies, Snowflake Obsidian, and my personal favorite, Little Larimar. She's so ominous yet wholesome! I can't wait for her to inevitably make Steven scream.
One day, I'll make you scream, Steven.
It's also interesting that she was the only gem shown that actually responded positively to Steven's attempt to open up new paths for the gems. Even though she ultimately didn't adhere exactly to Steven's assignment, she did find an undiscovered joy for herself, proving that while Steven was a little heavy-handed in his approach, his intuition wasn't totally off. This added a nice little dollop of nuance to the moral of the episode, and solidified that it was more about letting people decide their own paths rather than letting them exist solely in their comfort zones. The big thing from this episode was when Steven fuses with Amethyst, and his new pink Steven powers enhance the abilities of Smoky Quartz. Also, this time slowdown super speed power-up really makes me want to refer to pink Steven mode as Steven full cowling. If I was a betting woman, I'd say that this moment hints that we'll see a full cowling mode added to the other Steven fusions this season. It'll add a fresh layer of paint to these other older fusions, and I'm excited to see what you think they might get in the comments. Also, I wonder if I'm reading into this too much, but it seems like Steven's able to control this new power better when it's managed in a fusion state, as it appears out of frustrated desperation rather than pure rage. Perhaps Amethyst and the other partners can help Steven distill and control this emotion-based power. This state also gets used up quickly in his fusion form, but I think this may be due to Smoky Quartz's emotions cooling down after successfully saving the Coaster Riders. Without the adrenal fear of the safety of the innocent, the power subsided. I mean, he saved everyone except for Onion, who's apparently immortal now? Glad to see he's still a little freaking weirdo. In Rosebuds, Steven is struggling with where to place the portrait of his mom that currently hangs in the stairwell. No matter where he tries to put it, it just doesn't feel right. This, of course, is a metaphor for how Steven feels about his mom. Sure, she's his mom and she helped create him and give him his powers, but otherwise, she's been really complicated to love. I know it sounds cheesy, but the real placement Steven's worried about is where his mom fits into his life and his heart.
Still looking for a place to hang that painting of your mom?
Yeah. After everything that's happened, I don't know if I still want her hanging over us, you know?
I'm telling you, man, it's not the placement, it's the frame.
We finally get to meet the previously bubbled rose quartz gems that first debuted in season 4. Each gem seems to embody certain personality traits of the original. One rose quartz is cool and sensual, another is extroverted and inquisitive, and the third is more thoughtful and introspective. Obviously, there's a bunch of them, but those are the main 3 that we actually meet. But even though these guys are extremely similar to Steven's mom, it's all the more unsettling to the crystal gems, and especially Greg. Greg literally just nopes the hell out of the room as soon as he sees them sitting around the kitchen table. Pearl feels pretty squidgy because the romantic parts of Rose Quartz's personality seem to come out around her, so she fakes having to go to the bathroom and bounces. Garnet quickly joins her when sexy Rose Quartz offers her a shoulder rub. Damn, Mama's got game. Right off the bat, Steven makes awkward attempt after awkward attempt to try to accept the other rose quartz gems. But in the end, the gems themselves reveal that hanging out with Steven has been really uncomfortable for them too. Listen, relationships are complicated, but communication and honesty makes them a little easier, and after opening up to each other about their true feelings, they realize that they're kind of almost siblings, connected to one another by Rose Quartz's choices. This is actually super rad, as we get to explore an estranged sibling relationship. I wonder if we'll get more of this in the future. The last episode of the night, Volleyball, is the real standout and finally lets us in on Pink Pearl's relationship with Pink Diamond. If you thought Pink Diamond treated Spinel badly, guess what? She gets even worse! Pink Pearl, nicknamed Volleyball by Steven, reveals that she too suffered a traumatic event at the hands of Pink Diamond. Even just the thought of learning that his mom was even more abusive than he already thought makes his powers start to glitch out. But his powers aren't totally gone. For some reason, he just can't heal Volleyball's cracked eye, even though his spit is totally still intact. When he realizes that he can't heal her, he goes to Pearl for help, and she and Pink Pearl start having a weird passive-aggressive fight with each other, with each of them subtly trying to prove that one was more important to Pink/Rose than the other. But when Volleyball opens up to Steven about Pink Diamond's abuse, Steven totally loses it. He rages out and almost destroys the reef, proclaiming that he just can't hear one more horrible thing about his mom. After his freakout, the reef goes into protection mode and traps the Pearls, accusing them of disappointing their master. Inside the shell, Volleyball and Pearl realize that they've both been making excuses for an extremely complicated person. Pearl didn't want to believe Volleyball because the version of Rose Quartz that she knew was trying to get better. However, the suffering that Volleyball endured at the hands of Pink Diamond still happened, and Pearl finally tells her that she believes her. Their union causes a new fusion to erupt, a giant pink Pearl with a crown, a cape, and a cracked eye. My big question here is, what are we gonna call her? Ultra Pearl? Pearl Jam? Two Pearl, Two Furious? Pearl Squared? Royal Pearl? Let me know what you guys think their new gem fusion name should be. Even though Pearl and Volleyball seem to have learned from their shared experiences with Pink Diamond and Rose Quartz, I still don't think her eye is healed after the fusion. In the last shot of the episode, we don't actually see her wounded eye, but I don't think that's a scar that will heal easily. If Steven couldn't fix it with his magic spit, it probably means that the emotions behind Volleyball's cracked eye will take a lot of work to recover. Overall, these 4 episodes mark a decidedly strong premiere for Steven Universe Future. But where do you think we're going from here? I personally expect to see plenty of new fusions, new Pink Steven powers added to old fusions, and a final bow wrapped around Steven's mommy issues. This is the last outing of Steven Universe after all, and I think Sugar & Co. are about to throw the kitchen sink at us. Obviously, we're gonna see Steven struggle with controlling his emotions and powers, which undoubtedly will tie into Rose and her shady past. It'll be exciting to see Steven dip his toe into the dark side as he struggles to master his new abilities. Maybe those internet theories of him potentially becoming corrupted might be true. If this is the case, my theory is that it'll actually be Jasper who helps him regain his grasp on reality. Jasper has long been one of the most stubborn antagonists on the show, and for her to finally learn some compassion from Steven and pass it back to help him would make for a great conclusion to the arc setup in Little Homeschool. Maybe we'll even get a Jasper and Steven fusion. Even if this theory is completely off base, I think it's certain that Jasper will play a key role in the final act. Those are my thoughts on Steven Universe Future, but I want to know how you guys feel in the comments. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video, and click to the left of my face if you're craving more cartoons. It has truly been an honor to do this Steven Universe video on behalf of the talented Chris Carr, and she'll be back next week to see us, Space Cowboys.